What is going on, boys? It has been quite a while since I've come at you with a deck profile, but I wanted to talk about my favorite deck, ShineGreymon. Now, I should preface this, by no means is this deck competitive whatsoever in the BT12 format. This deck's pretty much just for fun, but when I want to take a break from playing competitively, or maybe I just want to mess around at locals, this is definitely a go-to for me. This is also, I think, a pretty decent base to kind of prepare yourself for EX4 and BT13 when we actually do get the really strong ShineGreymon support. But just as of now, there's not really enough kind of in archetype cards to make this a fully functional deck, but it can still do some pretty cool things. So let's go ahead and talk about our favorite shiny boy. So for the eggs, we're just going to be playing 4 copies of the BT5 Draw Koromon. This might seem weird since ShineGreymon is traditionally a yellow deck. However, with a lot of the new dual colored support, and the fact that the new Agumon Digivolve 0 from a Koromon, any colored Koromon in fact, and a lot of the Agumon and Greymon support works really well with red, I figured we might as well try to make this deck as consistent as possible by playing the BT5 Koromon. Now, speaking of the Agumons, the new addition to the lineup is going to be 4 copies of the BT12 Agumon. This is definitely the best one in the deck, has a really strong on-play as well as a really strong inherited. On-play, you get to reveal top 4, search for a Greymon as well as a Marcus, so it gets you your Marcus Tyrion, which is very, very essential to this deck. In fact, most games you don't see the new BT12 Marcus, you're probably losing those games. And he's also got a strong inherited where one of your red or yellow tamers becomes suspended. You just get to minus 2,000 on one of your opponent's Digimon. The ShineGreymon also has that effect, so it's really cool. You can sometimes stack that in addition to something like the BT2 ShineGreymon, get an extra 4k neg on your opponent's Digimon. So that's going to be it for the new additions. For the old Agumons, you already know the drill. 4 copies of the BT5. I'm just basically playing all the searchers, just trying to make this as consistent as possible. And then 4 copies of the Agumon X Antibody. These all effectively do the same thing. I'm not playing any Omnimons in this deck, so all of these cards say just reveal 4, reveal 3, search for a Greymon. Not playing any X Antibody either, so the fact that this does search for X Antibody isn't really relevant, but it is cool that you can just evolve it on top of any of these Agumons to just get an extra draw as well as an extra search on evolve. So it just helps with consistency. But 12 Agumons, I think, is totally fine. You're just trying to see your pieces as quickly as possible. So then for the level 4s, we're going to be playing ShineGreymon since the new Rise Greymon. And then basically the whole line encourages you to kind of go with Marcus's whole evolution line. This being ShineGreymon, it does Digivolve 2 from an Agumon that has 2 from a card that has Agumon in its name as well as Dinosaur in its trait. If you've never looked at the type specifically, the normal, like, I guess, Thai Agumon, the old Agumons, are reptiles, whereas all the yellow Agumons, like Marcus's Agumons, are actually dinosaurs. So that's something to keep in mind. So this guy's Digivolves for 2 on top of this one, but for 3 on top of this one. Another reason to play X Antibody Agumon is because it isn't a dinosaur as well. So it actually can be used with ShineGreymon. ShineGreymon Digivolves for 2 on top of Agumon X Antibody. So that's another pretty cool thing to keep in mind. But ShineGreymon's pretty much your best level 4 in the deck. Same inherited as the Agumon, but then he's also got the when Digivolving. If you don't have Marcus Demon in play, you get to just play one from your hand for free. So unloading your hand with your 4-cost Marcuses is really important. So you definitely want to see this card early on. And then the next copy of ShineGreymon is going to be, the only other one I think is really worth playing is going to be 4 copies of the starter deck, ShineGreymon. This card is good for 2 reasons. Number 1, its name is ShineGreymon. You're not really utilizing its on-play, like hard playing it from hand anymore. I think the game's a little bit too fast for that. But the other reason it's really good is because of the security effect. Being able to come out, pop a rookie, and then just have a body on board so that you can next turn Digivolve into a Rise Greymon is really, really strong. Another thing you can do is if you've played this for free and then it gives you a free Greymon on field to kind of use with Marcus, because Marcus requires you to have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name on your field at the start of the main phase. So this is really good for those reasons. And it also doesn't really conflict since all of your rookies are red. Of course, you've got yellow-red here, but this can just Digivolve 2 from any of your rookies, so you don't really have to worry about consistency on that front. And then the last copy of Champion 1 of here is going to be Greymon X Antibody. Now, this card, again, is solely for the purpose of reducing your evolution cost of your level 5s. The fact that you are playing a lot of 2-color yellow and red level 5s makes it so that you can evolve for 2. You don't really need anything else from this card. You're not playing regular Greymon, so you are just evolving this for 3. It's basically like a Deltamon that's searchable, so a little bit better in that regard. For example, with a new Rise Greymon that is yellow and red, Greymon X Antibody says when this Digimon would digivolve into a card with Greymon's name, reduce the cost by 1 for each of that card's colors. So this would evolve for a 2 since you are using this evolution condition. So you evolve for 2, and then his on evolve effect, if you've got a yellow red tamer in play, gain 1 memory, effectively allowing you to go into your Rise Greymon for just 1 cost, is really, really powerful. Helps the temp out of the deck a lot, and also lets you evolve for 2 into Rise Greymon X Antibody. So this card is just all around really good. Of course, the only downside being it's not named Geo Greymon. So for the level 5, talked about him a little bit, but this is definitely one of the centerpieces of the deck. One of your really strong plays is going to be setting up with your Rise Greymon BT12. Rise Greymon does a couple of really cool things. First of all, you basically get to just evolve him for 1 less if you've got a yellow or red tamer in play already. Being able to just gain back that memory is really important. Maybe if you or just at 2 memory or something, you can digivolve him for 3 on top of your Geo Greymon and then gain back that memory. He's also got the all turns as well as all turns inherited that both read the same thing. They basically just say when one of your tamers is deleted, you can place a Marcus Daemon from your trash on top of your security stack face down. So usually what goes on is you've got like a Marcus in play that you've utilized the start of main phase attack effect, and then you're going to swing it into security, get a free swing, maybe trigger some inheritance, whatever, checks your opponent's security, and then this will die, and then you can immediately just put it on top of your security, essentially getting a free recover 1, and then when your opponent inevitably hits it in security once again, you get to just play it back for free, and kind of gives you a little bit of a resource loop. The fact that it's all turns, his main effect is really good, and then if you digivolve over him, you're not really losing anything because you still got the inherited. So being able to potentially use it twice in a turn is also really good. Being able to, maybe you've got Marcus and Rise Greymon, you can swing, maybe one of your other tamers got deleted this turn, so you already utilized the first effect. You can maybe digivolve this into something like a ShineGreymon and then use its effect, and then this dies in security, and then you trigger the inherited effect as well. Another thing this works on really well is if you're maybe playing against a Black War Greymon deck or something that has tamer removal, if they do pop your tamers, you get to at least get 1 back onto your security stack for free. So that's at least some consolation that you're losing your tamers. And then the other level 5 I am playing is going to be just 3 copies of Rise Greymon X Antibody. This card's really broken as well, being able to just when digivolving play out your tamers. Again, you really want those tamers to be played as frequently as possible, and you're really not trying to pay them for their cost from hand. And he's got that mini shine effect where if he's got Rise Greymon underneath them, you get to just then minus 2,000 for each of your yellow and or red tamers. And he also gains a little bit of DP as well. So this also lets you just like randomly swing over things. If you're at 1 memory and then you just like evolve over this, you can minus something on your opponent's field, and then he boosts to like 10 or 12k maybe, and then you can swing over one of their Digimon. But he's really good. I don't really want to play more than 3. 4 is maybe okay, but you usually want to evolve this over Rise Greymon. Seeing this by itself, you don't get the second effect, or the effect to minus. You still get the free play tamer, which is good, and that tamer does get its on play, so it's really good for something like TK. So that's going to do it for the level 5s. For level 6s, pretty simple lineup, just 3 copies of the new BT12 ShineGreymon, 2 copies of the old BT2 ShineGreymon. I kind of had a hard time fitting these guys in, but you don't really want to see them too early on. This one's really good because it has that really strong on-evolve effect where you get to minus 3,000 to your opponent's one of your opponent's Digimon, as well as their security for each of your yellow-red tamers. And then he's got the effect to give Marcus Sec Attack +1 as well as 3,000. So the kind of standard combo there is maybe if you've got something like Marcus, you can swing security Marcus effect, digivolve into this, and then this effect to nuke something, lowers your opponent's security. This will check 2 security cards, and even on the off chance it dies, you might get the recovery with the Rise Greymon inherited. But the new ShineGreymon is really, really good. The only reason I don't think you really need need it at 4 is because you only have 4 copies of your PT12 Marcus, and this card doesn't really do anything outside of that. This one is better for board removal, although this is a single targeting. This effect you can kind of stack and spread as much as you like. So it does say basically suspend all of your yellow tamers, not yellow and or red, just yellows. And then for each tamer you suspend this way, you can activate the following minus 4,000 to 1 Digimon. You can of course do it 4,000 to like 3 different Digimon, or 12,000 to 1, however you like. But this card's still really strong, and it astounds me that this card is still really good considering it was printed all the way back in BT2. But that's going to do it for the Digimon there. And then for the tamers, of course, we are playing the 4 copies of the boy Marcus Damon himself. This card is just so good, and it's really hard carrying the deck, honestly. Being able to just free evolve into any of your Greymons is just really insane. One thing to keep in mind is that it does limit itself to digivolving you into a yellow Greymon. I did keep in mind the only time that would conflict in this deck is with like your BT or the red GeoGreymon, the starter deck GeoGreymon, but it allows you to do some really cool things, right? You basically just pay 1 at the start of main phase, and for that you get an extra swing, you get to free digivolve something, and then you potentially get a recover with the Rise Greymon. So there's a lot of versatility to be had. You don't really need any extra aggro with like hybrids or anything because of the fact that you have Marcus, so this one's really good. And then just playing 1 copy of the old Marcus just to like have more names, because there's a lot of times when you don't have, like, you've got GeoGreymon but you don't have a Marcus, or you whiff on an Agumon, or you use a Shining Blast, you don't have a tamer to play from hand. So just 1 copy of this, even though I'm playing TK as a memory tamer. This is just good to have the extra name, and potentially gaining memory is cool as well. For the other yellow tamers, still playing a lot of them as this is a Shine deck. 4 copies of TK definitely helps out with consistency. 2 copies of TK Kari punishes your opponent for being aggro, and just helps you remove some board, some maybe Floodgate rookies, preventing you from, I don't know, doing whatever plays you want to do, or just being able to swing over your opponent's Digimon. Same reason, Cody's really good, extra memory, and then everything in this deck basically is dual colored, so you can often trigger the second effect to minus 2k on something, whereas TK Kari is just minus 1k. And then for the option cards, I'm just playing 2 copies of Shining Blast. This card, I think, will get better in the future, just because, again, there's not too many Marcuses in the game right now, so you don't really want to see this and not have a Marcus in hand, although the second effect does count for all of your yellow and or red tamers, so being able to go really wide on tamers and then punish your opponent minus like 4 or 6k to everything, or to 3 things rather, is really crazy. And then lastly, for the broken one-ofs, just 1 Sunrise Buster, this card's still insane, and then 1 copy of the Reinforcing Memory boost to round off the deck list, guys. So that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you think down in the comment section about our boy Marcus. I think this deck can do a lot of cool things. It's just unfortunately not quite there yet, but you already know that I will keep you guys updated on Shine and come out with profiles as soon as this guy gets even just a little bit more meta relevant. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.